So, welcome all the devotees to our weekly Bhagavad Gita class. Thank you for coming. We welcome all the devotees who have come for the first time. I'm seeing many new faces here. Those who attended our last Gita course, they have also come. So, welcome all the devotees. So, we'll continue our discussion from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are on second chapter. So, just to give a quick overview of what we have discussed so far. In the first chapter, Arjun, he tells Krishna, please place my chariot in between the two armies. And Krishna places the chariot right in front of Bhishma and Drona. They are the dearmost to Krishna, to Arjuna. And seeing all the relatives in front of him, Arjun gets into complete confusion. Acharyan, Matulan, Bhratrin, Putran, Pautran, Sakhim, Statha, Shashuran, Suridas, Chaiva, Senayor, Ubhayoropi. He is seeing so many relatives on both sides, his friends, his teachers, his brothers, his sons and grandsons. And he says, Krishna, I don't want to fight. He gives 5 reasons. What are the 5 reasons? First, he is feeling compassionate. अब तो इतने बार बोला है तो याद होना ही चाहिए. He is feeling compassionate for all the people who will be killed. And then he says, how will I enjoy alone? If I kill all the family members, how will I enjoy alone? I'll become sinful by killing all of them. That is the third reason. And then when the men are killed, who will protect the women? They may be exploited, unwanted progeny may be born, destruction of family. And then in the second chapter, he says, I am completely confused, indecision. And then he surrenders to Krishna and Krishna starts explaining the knowledge of the soul. Arjun, you are speaking like a very, very learned person, but you are a fool. When you come to a guru, teacher, first thing which happens is dant padti. So first chastisement, Ashoccharanva shochastvam pragyavadam shabhashasi. You are speaking like a very learned person, but you are a pandita, you are a fool. Because you are thinking about the body is anyways dead. The soul is eternal. He explains the knowledge of the soul. Then he explains you want to enjoy. Both ways you will enjoy. Either you go to heaven, you will enjoy there. If you win, you will stay here, you will enjoy. And you are thinking about sinful activity, sinful reaction. Work for me. Work for higher purpose. And that is a section which we are discussing. How our work becomes our devotional service. How we can connect our day-to-day activity to our spiritual life. That is what Krishna is describing in this section. And we are continuing from verse number 47, very, very famous verse. We'll recite this. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbho ma te sangasto karmani. So now this is a very common verse quoted often in India at least. People say karma karo, karma hi puja hai. What type of work is worship? Any work we do is worship? Or is there some difference? Which type of work is worship? One of our devotees, he was telling that if work is worship, any work if you consider it as worship, then donkey is the biggest worshipper. कितना मेहनत करता है बेचारा, दिन रात काम करता है वो. So what type of work is worship? So that we are hearing. Krishna has described in previous verses when we work to come closer to Krishna. That type of work is worship. All the other works, they are not worship. We have to do our activities. We have our material dharma and we have our spiritual dharma. Swadharma means what is our real religion. There are 2 types of religion we follow. We should follow. One is material religion, other is spiritual religion. Material religion means whatever we do in our day-to-day life, taking care of the family, job, society or whatever. That is our material dharma. And there is spiritual dharma also. Spiritual dharma means connecting to the Supreme Lord. If somebody just takes care of the material dharma and doesn't take care of the spiritual dharma, then what is the use? Because after this life, again we'll have to start from scratch only. One time, a person went to meet his friend and he saw वजन बढ़ते जा रहा है फ्रेंड का. बोल रहा है अरे कम कर कितना वजन बढ़ा रहा है. बोलता अरे इस जन्म में जितना खाना है खा लो, वजन कम करके क्या करना है, क्योंकि अगले जन्म में 3 किलो से शुरू करना है. So the purpose of life is not just to maintain the body, maintain family, because whatever we do in this life, it will end with death. All our achievements will be destroyed at the time of death. खत्म हो जाएगा सब. So therefore, spiritual dharma is also very important. And when we work in such a way that our work leads to our religious activity, then it is best. Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate na tirtha pada sevaya jivan napi mritopisa. This is a verse from a scripture called Srimad Bhagavatam. How many of you have heard of Srimad Bhagavatam in life? Bhagavatam. Okay. So, Bhagavad Gita is spoken by Krishna, which we are reading. There is another scripture called as Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spoken about Krishna. All the various avatars of the Lord are described in that book. This entire scripture was spoken to Parikshit Maharaj by Shukadeva Goswami. So in that it describes, if your karma doesn't lead to dharma, if your dharma doesn't lead to renunciation, if your renunciation doesn't lead to devotion, it is all waste. It is useless. Whatever activities we are doing in our life, we should ultimately bring one closer to our religious practice. And if we are doing our religious practice but not taking care of the bhakti life, धर्म और भक्ति में अंतर है. क्या अंतर है धर्म और भक्ति में? Dharma means whatever day-to-day activities we are doing, or we are connecting to some spiritual substance, some spiritual reality, but not to Krishna. Ordinary dharma means ये देवताओं के पास जाओ, live a pious life, and do your duties properly. But what's the use if you are not connecting to Supreme Lord Krishna? Because all the other dharmic activities also, they will either give us punya, और अगर नहीं करेंगे तो पाप. तो पुण्य और पाप will have to come back again in this world, right? To suffer or to enjoy. But there is one activity which can take us out of the cycle of birth and death, and that is connecting to the Supreme Lord by the process of devotional service, and specifically by the process of chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this verse, very specifically, Krishna is saying, Karmanyeva adhikar aste. Because Arjun, he is thinking, why should I work? Because by working I'll become sinful. He says, no. Your duty is to work. आपका अधिकार क्या है? काम करो. Just like a student, his duty is बोल नहीं रही. क्या है ड्यूटी आप लोगों की? स्टडी. बोल रहे हैं तो बोल देते हैं क्या. So duty of student is to study, duty of any person is to work so that they can maintain their family, maintain the society. But here Krishna is telling Karmanyeva adhikar means what type of work is our duty? That work which connects us to the Lord. That is important. Unfortunately, in India, in Bharat, only 1/4 of this verse is quoted many times. Karmanyev adhikaraste. कर्म ही आपका अधिकार है. कर्म ही पूजा है. But what about other 3 parts? Ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma phaleshu means you don't have the rights to demand the results of your activities. That doesn't mean result नहीं मिलेगा. If you give exam, results will come or not? They will come. If you work, results will come. But if you are just thinking about result, मैं रिजल्ट के बारे में सोच रहा हूँ और पढ़ाई नहीं कर रहा हूँ, तो कैसे होएगा फिर? So therefore Krishna is telling, focus on your process. Don't focus on the result. Result will come automatically. Don't focus on the result so much. And if somebody says we should, okay, at least we can demand for some results. No. And if somebody says नहीं, कर्म का फल तो मिलेगा नहीं, ठीक है, मैं कर्म भी नहीं करूँगा. Krishna says you have to do your work. And don't think that you are the producer of the results. ये तो हद हो गई. एक तो आप बोल रहे हैं मैं कर्म करो, ऊपर से बोल रहे हैं you are not the producer of the results. So who is producing the results? मैं ही काम कर रहा हूँ तो मैं ही प्रोड्यूस कर रहा हूँ ना रिजल्ट्स. Krishna says no. Ma karma phala hetu bhu. You are not the producer of results. What does that mean? So we'll discuss these things in detail. Whatever time we have little short time today. So first is karmanyeva adhikar aste. We have the right to do our activities. Any activity which will take us closer to God. That type of activity we should do always. We should never run away from spiritual activities. You know, that is the general propensity of people. थोड़ा प्रोग्राम के लिए आई, टाइम नहीं है. या फिर जब भगवान का बुलावा आएगा तब जाएंगे. अरे भगवान बुला बुला के थक गए, अभी तक नहीं गए आप. So karmanyeva adhikar means we should do any activity which will bring us closer to God. And people in this world, they generally think when we work, we'll get some material things. Sukha sampati gharayave kashta mite tanaka. हमारी आरती वही होती थी. But this is not the only thing which we should ask for. We should ask for spiritual results now. What type of activity will give me spiritual result? What will bring me closer to God? What will help me purify my consciousness, purify my thoughts? Because our thoughts, they become our words. Our words, they become our action. Our action, they become our character. And our character decides our destiny. It all begins with thoughts. So we should cultivate right type of thoughts. That is very important. To purify ourselves, that is the primary duty of every person in this world. Every living entity is supposed to purify his mind and consciousness. The problem is, today's age is completely opposite. Whatever amount of kachra you can put in the brain, in the mind, that is the success of your life. If you can see all the wrong things, if you can do all the wrong things, that is success. The more you are able to do all the simple activities, the more that is successful. That is glorified in the world. You know, as they say, he is passionate. The passion is not a good thing. His passion is glorified in the outside world. He is passionate for his work. That is not a good thing. Ideal thing is one should stay in sattva, not in rajogun. Rajogun means passion. And anything done in the mode of passion, it ultimately creates problems. As it is said, there are some people who make things happen, some people see things happen, and some people wonder what happened. So people who are in the mode of goodness, they see things, they do things in right perspective. And they may not work so much, but they work efficiently. Prabhupada would call them lazy intelligent. There are some people who are active intelligent, some are lazy intelligent. Some are active fools, some are lazy fools. Which is worst amongst all of them? Active intelligence, lazy intelligence, active fool, lazy fool. Lazy fool. कितने लोग लगता है lazy fool? अच्छा, active fool, lazy intelligent, active intelligent. बाकियों को क्या लगता है फिर? चारों एक ही जैसे लग रहे हैं प्रभु जी हमको, आप ही बता दीजिए. So lazy, Prabhupada said lazy intelligent is the best because he doesn't run around much, still he gets things done. He is more efficient. And the more we start practicing spiritual life, start practicing Krishna consciousness, we learn to come in this category of lazy intelligent because a devotee knows how to be efficient in my life, how to work in such a way that I will take care of my family responsibilities and at the same time I'll take care of my spiritual responsibilities. And that intelligence is given by Krishna. That is 10th chapter, 10th verse. Please take out Bhagavad Gita. आप लोगों के पास लाए हैं. 10th chapter, 10th verse, Krishna says, this intelligence is actually given by Krishna himself. It is not an ordinary intelligence. It is given by Krishna. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadame buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Somebody read the translation, please. Loudly.
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
Yes. So this intelligence by which one can take care of the worldly responsibilities and connect to the Lord, that is given by Krishna. Nobody else can give this intelligence. So that is lazy intelligence. A person who is actively working around, running around, doing things, he doesn't get time to do all the other spiritual activities. And then there is lazy fool and active fool. You know what is the difference between lazy fool and active fool? You know which is more dangerous? Lazy fool ज़्यादा dangerous है कि active fool ज़्यादा dangerous है? Active fool. Why? Lazy कुछ करेगा ही नहीं, बैठा रहेगा. Active fool, he'll do so many things, but he'll do all गड़बड़ only. So lazy fool is better. Active fool is worst. So therefore, this karmanyeva adhikar, we should know what type of work we should do so that we can be efficient in our day-to-day activity, working properly so that we can maintain our family and at the same time develop connection with the Lord. That is important. It is not that now we are coming to Bhagavad Gita classes, तो भी सब मोह माया लग रहा है प्रभु जी, इस संसार से मन उब गया है. That is, detachment is not irresponsibility. Detachment means you take care of all your responsibilities but don't get attached to the results. That is ma phaleshu kadachan. Unfortunately, we think सब छोड़ देंगे ना तो टेंशन ही नहीं है, because anyways it was burdensome for me. जैसे students रहते हैं ना, when they start coming to our classes and when they start hearing about detachment and all this, and anyways पढ़ना नहीं है कुछ लोग students को, तो फिर बोलते हैं प्रभु जी सब मोह माया है, क्या रखा है पढ़ाई में, अच्छा है आपका जीवन ही अच्छा है प्रभु जी, कुछ एग्जाम नहीं है आपके जीवन में. Once I was moving and roaming around in the campus with one student and उसका एग्जाम आ रहा था बेचारे का. And as we were walking by the road, there was a dog sleeping. तो कुत्ते को देख के बोलता है प्रभु जी कितना सुखी है, इसके जीवन में एग्जाम नहीं, मेरा जीवन तो इससे भी बदतर लग रहा है, एग्जाम ही एग्जाम है. So that's how, when we come to spiritual practices, we understand what type of work we should do so that we can be efficient. Karmanyeva adhikar. All our activities should be to purify our mind, purify our intelligence. But ma phaleshu kadachan. Don't demand your results. That doesn't mean we don't care for the result. अभी प्रभु जी ने ही बोला है माँ फलेशु कदाचन, तो कल मम्मी को बोलना मत मम्मी एग्जाम में पास हो या फेल हो फल की चिंता मत करो. आपने भगवद गीता क्लास ठीक से नहीं सुनी, मैं सुन रही थी ठीक से, फल की चिंता मत करो. So that doesn't mean I don't care whether I pass or fail, whether I, after this class, if I ask you, भगवद गीता समझा ना, क्लास समझा, प्रभु जी फल की चिंता मत करो, आप बस बोलते रहो. So that is not the meaning of ma phaleshu kadachana. If somebody makes he is cooking something, and when after the food is good, somebody says namak nahi hai, phal ki chinta mat karo, chupchap khao. No, that is not the meaning of ma phaleshu kadachana. That, because many times it is the result which motivates us. If we are told, Baba तुमको कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला है, तुम काम करो, then we will not be so much motivated. But if we are just motivated by the results, we will not focus on the process. We will not focus on the studies, we will only focus on the results. And in the mode of focusing on the result, we will forget the process properly. We will not follow the process. So therefore, what is the goal which we should expect in our spiritual practices? In our day-to-day activity, whatever we are doing, of course, we should take care of the goals. We should take care of the results. We should study hard. We should work hard so that we can be a well-to-do, stable person in the outside world. But if we are only obsessed by the results, I want to become a billionaire, I want this only, and uske liye whatever I want to do, I have to do, then we'll be just obsessed with the results. Okay, become big. But in the mode of becoming big, don't forget the process of practicing spiritual life also, because that is the only thing which helps us in this life and the next life. Neha abhikrama nasho asti. This is the only thing which doesn't get destroyed after this life is destroyed. So therefore, Krishna tells, do your duty, but do it to purify the consciousness, purify your mind, and do your actions to please Krishna. That is very important for a practitioner. And then third line is ma karma phala hetu bhu. You are not the producer of results. So who is producing the results? If I am working, that means I am producing the results, right? Krishna says, no, you are not the only producer. Just like if a student, he does his studies nicely and he writes the exam also properly, can he or she claim, मेरे तो एग्जाम में एकदम अच्छे मार्क्स आने ही वाले हैं? और कुछ होता है फैक्टर? What is the other factor which decides our marks? Examiner. Mood of the examiner. अगर मैं पत्नी से झगड़ा कर क्या होगा तो वो गुस्सा इधर निकालेगा. Although we have written right answers, we have studied properly, but there are some things which are not in our hand. So therefore, Krishna is saying, not everything is in your hand. Please take out 18th chapter, 14th verse. Krishna tells there are 5 factors in every action. There are some people who say, I am a self-made man. मैं किसी के सामने झुकता नहीं हूँ. मैं भगवान के सामने भी झुकता नहीं हूँ. मैं कोई मंदिर नहीं गया, किसी के सामने प्रार्थना नहीं किया. Whatever I am, it is because of my hard work. Have you heard such people? देखे ऐसे कुछ लोगों से मिले कभी जो बोलते हैं मैं तो अपने बलबूते पे हूँ. अपने बलबूते पे नहीं होता है. There are 5 factors in every action. In Mumbai, every year so many people they come to become Bollywood stars. But how many become successful? Everybody works hard. How many become successful? Very few. There are many factors. निकल गया 18 chapter 14 verse. अधिष्ठानम तथा करता है ना. We'll recite this. Adhishtanam tatha karta karanam cha prithak vidham vividhascha prithak cheshta devam chaivatra panchamam. There are 5 factors behind every action. First is adhishthan, the place. ना फेमस एग्जाम्पल सबका रहता है, फेवरेट एग्जाम्पल क्रिकेट. व्हाट इज द अधिष्ठान इन क्रिकेट? द पिच. तो अधिष्ठान अच्छा होना चाहिए. एज दे से होम पिच पे हम लोग खेल रहे हैं, तो पिच इज गुड. कर्ता, कर्ता मीन्स द पर्सन हु इज परफॉर्मिंग द एक्टिविटी, द प्लेयर, द बैट्समैन, द बॉलर. Karanam, the instruments, the bat and ball, it should be good. Then चेष्टा, endeavor, net practice किया, net practice ही नहीं किया तो फिर कैसे होगा? That is also equally important. But in spite of all this, if the adhisthana is good, home pitch where you are playing, and you are the best player, your instruments, bat, ball is also good, you have worked hard also, but can we say we will become victorious? The fifth factor is Daiva, the destiny, the Bhagya which we have only created. भाग्य कौन बनाता है? भगवान नहीं बनाते हैं भाग्य. We make our own destiny by our previous actions. What is destiny? Destiny means the result of our own previous actions which we are going through now. वही हमारा destiny है, हमारा भाग्य हम नहीं बनाया. Man is the maker of his destiny. But the Lord is the sanctioning authority for our results. If we have done something and if we are entitled to get the results, but there should be one person who sanctions it, right? तभी तो मिलेगा. सैंक्शनिंग नहीं होगा तो कैसे मिलेगा? Who is the sanctioning authority? That is God. That's why it is said, भगवान की इच्छा के बिना एक पत्ता भी नहीं हिलता है. सुना है? मानते हैं? जब प्रॉब्लम आता है तब तो नहीं मानते, फिर वैसे तब बोलते हैं भगवान क्या चल रहा है मेरे जीवन में, क्यों कर रहे हैं आप? Why do bad things happen to good people? फिर वो मूवी का सीन रहता है ना, हीरो जाता है, घंटी बजाता है, बोलता है खुश तो बहुत हो. So Daiva is very important. Our destiny, whatever we have done, we can't avoid it. So therefore, these 5 are the factors which affect our activity. So we should not feel, I am the doer. Whatever I am, it is by my own efforts. No sir. There is a 5th factor involved, that is Daiva. Unless the supernatural power sanction, you will not get the result. आपने पिछला किया ही नहीं है तो कैसे मिलेगा? So that's why it is said, Ma karma fal hetur bhu. You know, there are some cricketers, they have some conception of this Daiva. There is one cricketer, while playing, he'll always keep a red handkerchief, and 1/3 of it he will put out of his pocket. बोलता शुभ रहता है मेरे लिए, it is good for me. There is another cricketer, he had this conception that while I am playing, all the washrooms in the stadium, their seats should be closed, otherwise it is not good for my cricket. So before the match starts, he would go around closing all the toilet seats. ऐसे ऐसे misconceptions, मतलब they have some understanding, Baba, not everything is in my hand. All they have studied, practiced properly, worked hard, but still there is something which is not in my hand. So I am not the only producer of results. There are 2 things, endeavor and the mercy. That is Damodar Leela. We have heard Damodar Leela. When we endeavor, then the Lord shows mercy. And therefore, the last thing Lord says, Mate sango astava karmani. So if the student is told, beta aapko result nahi milega, to bolega padhai kyun karu phir? You have to study, you will get the results. You can't give up studying. You have to work hard. And don't expect the results immediately. It will come. We should not feel calm, nahi karenge. We will not study, we will not practice, we will not work. In spiritual life, now all of us have started practicing spiritual life. Why we should do for our any activity? Why we should go to job? Why we should maintain family? Now our motive changes. Now, whatever we are doing, it is to purify our existence so that we can come closer to God, so that we can please the Lord. So that's how we have to understand this karmanyeva adhikar. This is the adhikar we have. Ma phaleshu. For example, how many of you have made New Year resolutions in life? New Year resolution बनाए हैं? आपने भी बनाए? अरे वाह, कितने दिन टिका? कितने दिन चला? चल रहा है अभी भी? ओह वाह, वंडरफुल. आपने भी बनाए? कितने दिन चले आपके रेजोल्यूशन? चल रहे हैं अभी भी? अरे बच्चों के चल रहे हैं, बड़े वाले तो बोल रहे हैं प्रभु जी वो एक हफ्ते से तो चलते नहीं, तो इसलिए अभी हमने बनाने छोड़ दिए हैं. Many times we make resolutions to achieve some goals. ये मिलेगा, ये मिलेगा. For example, if we want to become a writer, then we have to make a resolution of writing at least something every day. That is a resolution. But it is better to make resolutions regarding what we will do than what we will achieve. Sometimes we make resolutions. I want to become a good writer. That is my resolution. That is not the resolution we should take. What resolution we should take? I will write something every day. What we will do, that is in our hand. Karmanyeva adhikar. If we are focusing on the result, मुझे बड़ा writer बनना है, then nothing will happen. We have to focus on the process. So it is very, very important that when we are practicing our spiritual life, we have to also make endeavors to make some habits which will help us in spiritual practices, which will help us come closer to Krishna. The habit of reading Gita, habit of chanting in the morning time. नहीं तो कभी कभी तो ऐसा होता है रात के 10 बज जाते हैं, फिर याद आता है माला बची है, कहाँ है, ढूंढो. कभी कभी तो मिलती ही नहीं है माला कहाँ माला मतलब चैंटिंग बीट्स. ओके, हाँ. So we have to make some habit of at least getting up early in the morning and reading Gita every day, any time of the day. Two principles are important in making habits. This is one of the activity we should cultivate. Karmanyev, ये कर्म करना है हमको. Cultivate the habit. First is consistency. Do it every day. If you repeat something every day, then it becomes your nature. It becomes habit. And how to be consistent? Just keep things simple. Start with some simple habit. Some simple thing. Just like if somebody wants to start reading Bhagavad Gita every day. How many of you want to read Bhagavad Gita every day? How many of you read Bhagavad Gita every day? बाकी लोग का क्या विचार है? So we should at least, if you want to begin a habit, one of the very great, wonderful authors, he wrote 5 sutras for habit building. He said, first, begin with something very simple. Try to just hold Bhagavad Gita and read one line every day for 1 minute. That's it. वहां से शुरू करो. आज ना हम 2 घंटा बैठ के भगवद गीता पढ़ने वाले हैं, तो मन पहले ही बोलेगा तू पढ़, मैं तो जा रहा हूं. Mind will never allow you to do something which is difficult. Keep things simple. मन को क्या बोलना है, बस 1 मिनट तो देखना है बुक. You do it every day. And when you should do it? Connect your new habit to some old habit which you are already having. There are some things which we do every day. For example, taking bath. और क्या करते हैं रोज? 3 बार खाते हैं, ब्रेकफास्ट, लंच, डिनर. और क्या करते हैं रोज? ब्रश. वही ब्रेक, मतलब बेदिंग के साथ सब कुछ हो गया. और पूजा और cooking. So you all know what all things you do every day. try to link your habit of reading Gita to one of the things you are already doing. After taking a bath, I will hold Bhagavad Gita in my hand and read for 1 minute every day. कर सकते हैं 1 minute? Or after taking breakfast, I will do it. After taking lunch, after taking dinner. बस सोने के बाद मत करिए. सोने के बाद और उठने के पहले नहीं कर सकते. So keep things simple, you know. वो ऑडियो आपको नहीं सुनेगा, वो बाकियों को सुनाई देगा, डिस्टर्ब होगा. Okay, so keep things simple. That is how we have to start our habits. This reading of Bhagavad Gita is very important. वो भगवद गीता एज इट इज, प्रभु जी एज इट इज कितना अच्छा लगता है ना देख के. एज इट इज रखा रहता है वो, क्योंकि एज इट इज उस पे लिखा है. So we should try to at least pick up Bhagavad Gita every day, read at least few lines, read at least one verse or translation. कुछ तो पढ़िए, because the mind will always say पक्का करना है बाबा, भगवद गीता नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो और क्या करेंगे. लेकिन आज तो टाइम ही नहीं. पक्का कल से, आज नहीं. आज तो मतलब यू आर सो बिजी, यू नो, यू आर ऑलरेडी वर्किंग सो हार्ड. कल से हम दोनों मिलके भगवद गीता पढ़ेंगे. माइंड विल से. So for a devotee who wants to read Gita, mind will say पक्का करना है. This is the best thing you should do in life. You should do every day, but not today. Start from tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes. वो कल कभी नहीं आता है. So that's how we have to keep things simple. You have to train the mind. It is a art. It is a science. Learn to train your mind. धीरे धीरे कराइए उसको कुछ चीजें. छोटे बच्चों से कैसे काम करवाते हैं आप लोग? बच्चे बोलेंगे हमारे सामने ही बता रहे हैं. छोटी छोटी चीजें, बेटा थोड़ा ये करते, थोड़ा सा. बच्चों को कैसे खिलाते, कैसे? बेटा एक और, बेटा एक और खिलाते हैं ना. मम्मी ऐसी खिलाती है, कभी कभी खिलाते हैं. सो मन भी हमारा बच्चा है. It's like a child. We have to train the mind slowly. Don't give a big task. ये पूरा का पूरा प्लेट खत्म करना है. मैं तो बिल्कुल नहीं खाने वाली हूँ, मैं तो खाऊंगा ही नहीं. So mind will also say, I'll not read Bhagavad Gita. Read one line. Read for 1 minute. That is very important, you know. Mahaphaleshu, but don't feel bad if you can't do it for 1 day or 2 days. प्रभु जी इतने दिन से तो भगवद गीता की शक्ल भी नहीं देखी है. वो तो संडे आता है तो याद आता है भगवद गीता, मैसेज आया भगवद गीता क्लास है, भगवद गीता कहाँ है, ढूंढो. So we should not be disturbed. We should not get upset. अरे आज नहीं पढ़ पाए, आज भी नहीं पढ़ पाए. अरे I am so fallen, I am so foolish. No problem. Don't think you are the creator of the results. There is always a new beginning for everyone, you know. So we have to understand this process of spiritual life. It is a very, very wonderful path. And when we are detached from the results, you know, it keeps us away from negativity of our life. When we are only thinking of क्या नहीं कर पाए, क्या नहीं मिला, ये मिलना चाहिए था, ऐसा होना चाहिए था, we become so negative. And it completely sucks our energy. We can't do anything productive. Our repentance should make us more enthusiastic to do right things in life. But sometimes we go in guilty consciousness. I am so foolish, I am so, मतलब जितना गाली देना है अपने को देते रहते हैं, and we can't do anything. So try to stay away from the results. Okay, no problem. I'll be detached from the results. I'll focus on the process. आज नहीं पढ़ा, कल से शुरू करेंगे. आज चैंटिंग नहीं हुआ, कोई बात नहीं. We will start again for sure. That is very important, you know. Okay, so we'll stop here. Anybody has any questions? Any questions or comments? I have another program, so I'll stop a little early here now. Any questions anybody has? Okay, so it seems there are no questions. I'm very grateful to all the devotees who have joined for the first time. And we hope and pray that you keep coming and inspiring all of us. Pray to Radha Gopinath Ji that this marks a very auspicious, wonderful beginning in your spiritual life. And we welcome all these wonderful devotees in our traditional style by loudly chanting 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. We'll have quick 2 minutes of kirtan and then we'll end. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare